Here's a pin that's been melted and turned into a pipe right here. This is old stuff. This has been here for ages. That's not dangerous to touch it. But you see this old pin that's been turned into a pipe. You know, a needle junkie. They use this to snort fent. So there's paraphernalia everywhere. You can see the blue pipes everywhere. So whoever was back here had a serious addiction problem. And it's evident just by looking around here. It's like everywhere you look, it's paraphernalia, needles, or things that are related to consumption. So hurricane comes through. The people who don't have any money, they want your house now, right? So here you are, you have your house in Florida, hurricane destroys it. Now your house needs to be rebuilt, but you don't have any money. So you're gonna camp out for a while, wait for the insurance company to give you some money. Well, they want you to leave right away. They want you to sell your house right away so they can get it for the down low. And they want your house. The only way they can get your house if they can get you out of the way. So with these new camping laws, and what you're going to start to see the county do is they're going to start going in and they're going to start condemning people's houses left and right, especially if the people start camping. You start camping, they're going to condemn your house instantly. And once your house is condemned, now that pretty much starts the foreclosure process of them taking your house. But again, one of those deals for people in Florida don't see what's happening to them. People are, the insurance companies, the investors are pretty much taking people's houses, and the people are so blind they can't see it. You know, they are completely fooled. Probably the reason these homeless people are here is because there's a body of water, maybe a big sinkhole back here. And it looks like there might be a trail this way. Florida's new anti-camping law takes effect in a day or two. Let me ask you this. Why are the rich people allowed to camp out in public, but the poor people aren't? So this Ollie's parking lot is nothing but people camping. And some of these are $300,000 and $400,000 camping equipment. So my question is, you know, we're going to go after the homeless people that are camping because they don't have a home. But if the rich people's homes get destroyed, they're allowed to go camping? This is an abandoned gas station here in Homosassa. You can see there's some clothing over here. Let's see what's going on in here. Take a look at the inside of this gas station, y'all. It's got trees growing inside of it. So let me get this understood. The rich people, you know, they don't want to see homeless people, so they make this anti-homeless law. So they don't want to see this right here, right? Well, now the rich people are only 50 feet away and they're homeless too. There's still salt water sitting here in this parking lot. And this salt water, give it a few days, it's gonna stink. But the irony, the complete irony of this situation is that many of these rich people that are sitting here in this parking lot today are for the anti-homeless law. We don't want to see these people sleeping outside. Well, guess who's sleeping outside now? You are. And that's just the way people are until it happens to them. So there's a lot of homeless camps back here. You can see they have a ladder here made out of wood, a fluorescent light bulb, probably to throw it at somebody as a weapon. Shopping cart. I know there's homeless people back here. I just haven't seen them yet. This wood looks real fresh. So back in these woods somewhere are people living in these homeless camps back here. You can see they have what looks like a sinkhole here, and they're just using it to dump garbage. You got some burn barrels. You got a table, nice aluminum table. There has to be somebody living back here because all this stuff looks fresh and usable. But I haven't ran into anybody yet. You can see they have a toilet with, I mean, they're working on a toilet there. And well, the danger is that they could ambush you from up top and throw something at you. So we're going to have to keep moving through here real carefully. Back over here is a giant garbage pile. I'm seeing a lot of women's clothes. So overlooking this beautiful lake, here's a homeless camp. Large homeless camp. This one's not even the one I saw on Google Maps, but you can see the type of tree cover you have here. It hides it very well. But this is yet another homeless camp here. Maybe abandoned. So all it took is for me to get off of US19, and already we are finding homeless camps everywhere. This one looks like it's abandoned. Looks like they came through and took all the goodies. Sometimes the homeless people that were here move out and find a better place. Other times it's the law enforcement that forces them to leave. I can pretty much take the liberty of guessing that this is an abandoned camp because everything is scattered. But there's always a possibility that within the vicinity of this camp are other camps not too far away, and they could hear us talking and sneak up on us through the woods, maybe even ambush us. It's always a possibility. But look at how beautiful this natural setting is and how much destruction these people have left behind. You can see here a lamp. This doesn't look like a cheap, crappy lamp. This is actually solid brass. That lamp right there at a scrapyard, it's probably 15 pounds of brass. It's $20 just in scrap metal. That's a very fancy brass lamp. But here it is sitting here in this homeless camp. You can see a lot of beer cans. So this person here had a scrap metal pile. They were saving their beer cans and their brass. So this is somebody who was collecting scrap metal to sell it for money. But I don't know if there's scrap yards anywhere in this area that somebody can just go to. One of the things that we always find in these homeless camps is what we have right here, which is photo albums. And these photo albums usually belong to the people that live in these camps. And it's one of the few things they have left over of what used to be a normal life. Their memories is all they have with them. Now, other times they garbage pick photo albums and they bring them back here for some random reason. But most of the time, photo albums like this are going to be the people that are living here. So I thought these were photo albums, but they're actually business ledgers. And they look like they're handwritten business ledgers. So these look like handwritten business ledgers, payroll reports. So this is probably somebody that garbage picked this somewhere in the garbage and they kept it. Maybe just to know more about whoever threw it out, which is kind of creepy, but not gonna lie, if you dumpster dive, this looks like an electrical wire here. It might be copper or steel, but it's an actual, like from a winch or something, and they just tied it on these trees here to dry their clothes. Finding a lot of clues here. Very interesting stuff. Some natural ices. There's some fireballs over here. This particular camp, I haven't found needles yet, but there's the little pipes again. So here's the pipes as well. And you can see how they used a knife to slice it shorter so they could use it for snorting. So whoever was back here again was consuming. And here's a garbage pile where they were trying to burn off their paraphernalia. A lot of times they try to burn their paraphernalia, so if the cops come, they don't find paraphernalia ever. But once they're ready to leave, they don't care. But if they're coming back to the site, they'll try to burn their paraphernalia or hide it, because if the cops come back here, they'll find all the paraphernalia. Nice share here. You have a life raft in case a storm surge makes it to your homeless camp. By the way, this homeless camp is too high for the storm surge to make it here. Some more natural ices. And yet here is another solid brass lamp. And again, this one's steel. So this one, the top is brass, but the bottom is steel. This is a lamp that, again, is solid brass. It's going to have some steel in it. It's probably half brass, half steel. But nonetheless, nice lamps. Very good chunks of brass. But I don't think there's any scrapyards around here that they can take it to. This is kind of off the beaten path. And what's interesting about this part of Florida up here is that in this part of Florida, it's kind of a more isolated region. So because it's more isolated, it's more sparsely populated, it really lends itself very well to homeless camps because, yeah, you're not close to any gas stations or close to anything, but, well, nobody's going to bother you. And a lot of times the people that want to live like this, choose areas like this because they can live out here and not have to worry about cops coming through or anybody, actually. I don't know, again, it is possible that as we keep going deeper and deeper into this stuff, somewhere in the back is, somebody living further back. It's normal for somebody in these homeless camps to start in the front and then little by little move further in, because, anybody looking around when they see the first camp, second, third, fourth, they may be scared to keep pushing back. So sometimes if they're paranoid or scared or something, they'll keep pushing further and further back into these camps. Eventually the person's in the back, really far back, like here, and they're kind of, paranoid. Here we have a woman's bra sitting on a tree. So you would assume this is a female camp. But in my experiments of homeless homeless camp touring, I've discovered that many times males who are registered offenders dumpster dive female clothing articles. So I've noticed that a few of the camps that I've been to where there's homeless registered offenders, you can look them up on a map, they hoard women's clothing. So just because you find women's clothing doesn't exactly mean that there's a woman back here. Now, this area has an issue, and that issue is that it's a lot of tree cover. Just about everywhere you look, there are finches, and I mean hundreds of little finches, painted buntings, warblers, all types of birds. And that is because this is a wooded coastline of Florida. So since it's a wooded coastline, all the birds that are migrating north to south, like right now, the winter's coming, so all the warblers from up north are coming back down south to the warmer Caribbean. So you get just an onslaught of all these little birds, and they come through here because it's along the coast and it's the right habitat. So, as I'm sitting here, I'm watching all these tiny little finches everywhere. What would a homeless camp tour be without pill bottles? After all, this is what leads people to homelessness. So while the residents of this homeless camp are gone, left behind are thousands of items of paraphernalia. Now, put a price tag on how much these people consume in a year. I recently interviewed a girl and in Bradenton, and she told me that she'll spend $150 a day, which, by the way, is enough to pay a luxury apartment. Now, this area over here, Homosassa, man, as far as I can remember, I've always came to this area since the late 2000s, 2010, 2011, 2012. And this area has kind of always been like this. It's always been needle junkie camps. And sadly, to this day, the problem persists. Stuff's more deadly these days, only difference. So what's crazy is you look on Google Maps, and I found one speck in the middle of the woods, and I said, okay, there's a homeless camp back in here. But what's crazy is, as I'm walking through these woods, buddy, it's not just one speck in the woods. This whole area is nothing but homeless camps. So, this is prime black bear habitat, and the state of Florida has a lot of black bears, and this is prime black bear habitat up here. And what's crazy is, I just can't believe, how many camps are back here. It's almost unreal. I mean, I've just been walking through these woods, and you can't really see this on Google Earth again because of this, the type of vegetation here. But look at this. It's like everywhere you look are abandoned camps. And of course, the cops come through and knock down the camps. And also the people that live in these camps, when they move from one spot to the other, they take the bigger items and just leave behind the garbage. So, but what's crazy is the amount of homeless camps that are back here. You can see here, somebody was cooking beans over this fire in the woods. They have some tarps that was covering something here, a little bin. But This is supposed to be, you can see a crap load of garbage in the woods through there. This is supposed to be prime black bear habitat. This is close to a state park. This is supposed to be the type of place where it's supposed to be pristine. It's supposed to be beautiful, but it's nothing more than a camp. Now, I do have stabilizers and equipment like that, but when I make these videos, I don't want to be, if I run into somebody, I don't want to look like some fancy journalist. I just want to look like a guy with a cell phone. It really doesn't lend itself well to look too fancy out here. You can see the water looks very clear. You could use that water for washing and for other purposes. And also, I bet the fishing in here's got to be great as well. So as we walk through here, I'm just surprised that, I thought we were going to find, I thought I got lucky and found one hidden camp in the woods. But the more I go through here, the more I realize that this isn't just one single abandoned camp, that I got lucky and found one person camping. Something's running through the woods. It could be an animal, it could be a dog, or, it could be anything really. They just leave behind the paraphernalia, the plastic, and the garbage. This is what's in the woods in Florida, guys. What has our state become? When I think about this, is what my state of Florida has become. A never-ending pile of garbage in the woods. This one might have been a female. There's a bear, there's a shoe, there's a few things here that would suggest this was a female. And, I've noticed that from what I've seen out here, the females are actually more addictive than males. Females that end up on the streets are so much more addictive than males. And that leads to them easily being used. Sometimes they're beautiful females and they'll end up with some crackhead looking dude, and all he does is feed her $20 a day worth of work, and that's enough to keep her not sober, because if she was sober for a second, she'd look at him and say, what am I doing with this idiot? But a lot of times these girls that are out here on the streets, they end up with a dude like that. And it's very unfortunate that these girls with just a little bit of something can be controlled. And a lot of them aren't even on the streets. A lot of them could just be living with a dude, and it's so, a lot of the females, when they hit the streets, they become really abused by these types of people. But it comes down to one simple thing: their uncontrollable addiction, which people on the streets are very likely to feed that addiction to keep them trapped. And they become something like a pet to somebody, more than a boyfriend or girlfriend. They become like pets. And I know there's no nice way of saying it, but it's the truth. And this is not to encourage that behavior. This is to warn females: if you become homeless, and you have an addiction, you're going to find somebody who's going to exploit that addiction. Here you have an electric motor right there. A little tiny electric motor right there. Somebody might have been trying to invent a water pump or something. This was all the same. I guess the only thing around here is a gas station. These gas stations may be the only source of food these people have. And you end up with, 20,000 bottles of Big Gulps in the woods from the same gas station, because again, this is kind of an isolated spot. Being an isolated spot, there really aren't too many places where somebody can get, a glass of water. So they have to go to the same or only gas station where they spend all their money. And, they turn that into a complete debris field. Now, if I kept walking through here, I'm going to end up in a residential neighborhood. And that's the last thing I want to do, because, we are in the woods, and entering private property of a residential nature would be like a death wish. So we're going to stop right here, because I can see some structures over there. We don't want to encroach on somebody's private property, especially around here. And there's no telling what type of relationship the homeowners would have had with the junkies that were out here. And yeah, they are junkies. If you're in the woods, shooting up with a needle, you're a junkie. And I don't know if you guys know this, but even homeless people hate needle junkies. Gotta keep an eye out for snakes that have the right curvature. I don't know if you guys know this. Somebody on a loudspeaker saying, I'm gonna call the cops, you homeless something. I don't know if you can hear it from here. But somebody's over there on a loudspeaker saying, I wanna call the cops, you needle junkie or something like that. Homeless person. So they think, because we're walking through here, they think that we're homeless. So they're on a speakerphone saying, you know, homeless person, you're in the woods, we're gonna call the cops or something. See if we can get back on the sidewalk and get out of here. But I don't know if you guys know this, but homeless people hate needle junkies. Homeless people are afraid of needle junkies because they're bad. They are bad news even for homeless. Even homeless people don't like needle junkies. They blow up their spots. They panhandle aggressively. They bring cops. They bring unnecessary police attention that they don't want or need. So, yeah. Even the homeless people have a disdain for needle junkies because they bring unnecessary law enforcement attention. Well, I'm just trying to get back to US19 now. Here's the trail. Let's get out of here. There's a bunch of stuff here at the starter trail. You can see some band-aids there. Somebody might have got hurt or something and had some band-aids. But this is what's hiding in the woods. Just a few feet from US19, you know. Over here, traffic is passing by. People are living their normal, hard-working lives. But here in the woods, well, there's another scenario hiding. Another situation's going on back here. All right, guys, keep in mind that Citrus County has the highest OD rate of anywhere in Florida until a few years ago. It's now the third highest in Florida, but forever it was always the highest. This isn't even behind the Walmart. This is in front of the Walmart. Like, literally, there's US19 over there. There's that new 7-Eleven. It's crazy, is. Oh, there's people up there. Let me see if I can talk to them. So we'll keep it moving. There are some people living right up here, or coming through here, but they're not very friendly. They're not friendly at all. Very aggressive, very confrontational. So we're gonna keep it moving. But like I said, this isn't even behind the Walmart. This is in front of the Walmart. I'll show you guys. I'm gonna run this little clip unedited so you can see. Look at all the. See right here. They look. Here they are. They cut them up and they snort with these. But we're not even behind the Walmart. We are in front of the Walmart. Look, there's the Walmart parking lot right there. And these people are literally, you know, getting high in front of the Walmart. It's crazy to think that this is Florida. But this is worse than Fresno out here. Even in Fresno, if you guys watched my video where I walked around that homeless camp in Fresno, we didn't see any needles. We didn't see any of that stuff. Look at this Walmart right now. You got two campers right here. You got one here, one there. That's like a girl and a guy. The guy was like in his 40s, and the girl's like maybe not even 20. One of those deals where like he's got her all needled up. There they are right there. Look, that's them.
That's him?
Yeah. You can tell the girl's probably half his age. I think these people are like methed out and paranoid, because I think the people that I approached ran and told all the other people and they all left. So it seems like they're really like needled out, paranoid. Like, it's just really be nice if I can get you guys an interview. There's a big trail right there. Just think about all the native wildlife, guys, that lives in these woods. All of Florida's native wildlife has to live among all this garbage and filth. It's not really fair to them. I'm gonna guess that meth is the poison of choice out here, because as I'm going through here, all the people that I encounter are just super hostile, super paranoid. You can see somebody was just laying up here after their bottles or whatever. Again, so judging by the fact that we're seeing a lot of trails, you know, on the sand here, this would suggest that there's people back here. These are fresh prints. So I walked and I ended up here. We're in some trailer park. And let me tell you, the lifestyle of people in these trailer parks isn't too far-fetched from the people in the lifestyle in the woods. They got the same problems, addiction. A lot of them don't have cars. They use bicycles just like the homeless. I mean, from the trailer park to the homeless camp, it's only a few lots away. People always think, well, you know, a nice little quiet rural area. Really? You really think these are quiet rural areas? Take a look at these skid marks. You think this is a quiet rural area? That tree fell during the hurricane right there. A lot of times people think that these rural communities in North Florida are safer than the large cities in South Florida. It's not analytically true, and it's not literally true. These North Florida communities are dealing with a lot of problems. So people are really hostile and angry. I wouldn't want to live in these places. You know, it might at first glance appear quiet, but spend some time out here.